Hey, welcome back to my YouTube channel. I am excited to get back into the series, which is me walking you guys through my experience in Uganda. I'm not in my regular space. I'm actually not in my apartment. I'm traveling for the holidays, and yes, this takes place in the summertime, but I'm a med student, y'all. I've had to balance making these videos with school, and that will be a completely separate video. So far, I've taken you through half of my trip. So I was in Uganda for 4 weeks, a little over 4 weeks, and what I did was a research project. But what I learned is so much more than that. First couple of weeks, I was working on my master's, which I since graduated last Friday with my Master of Science in Global Health. And it was completely unrelated to the internship, but it was something that I really had to go all in and work towards for that first quarter of my trip. And then the second week, I walked you guys through, and then the halfway point, which was my first field day. That changed my entire perspective, not just of Uganda, not just of the continent of Africa, not just of the world, but my entire outlook on life. And the next day, I ended up going on my first safari. So now that I've gotten you caught up, if you're not caught up, go back and watch the videos. But now that I've gotten you caught up, we're in week 3, and I'll just share some thoughts that I had, and I'll also walk you through the next trip, which happened the weekend after, to Queen Elizabeth National Park. Stay tuned and like, comment, share, and subscribe. I don't know that I mentioned this before, but I really wanted to sit and journal and eat and indulge and reflect, but I couldn't really do that during the first part of my trip. As I mentioned, I was super busy and things were really hectic. But around the halfway point, especially after such a moving weekend, I was intentional about sitting and writing. And whenever I got the chance, whether it was for dinner, lunch, or if I could get up on time, breakfast, then I would go walk over to the hotel, which was adjacent from my living space, which was part of the hotel, but it was like my own apartment. So I'd walk over to the dining services area and but writing, reflecting, and reading this book called The Big Leap was a huge deal. So I've been trying to finish that book for a while, and I finally got around to doing that during the trip. And The Big Leap, it basically, actually I'll insert a clip of what I put on Instagram here, because I already explained my thoughts on the book. Let's continue. You know, I heard somewhere that if your dreams don't scare you, they're not big enough. I never understood that fully until this morning. I'm sitting here thinking about how so many things in my life are coming together, and I know and have felt for so long that there's something I'm meant to do, there's something I'm supposed to do, there's someone I'm supposed to become. And I feel closer to that than I ever have before. And I'm thinking about everyone else and the fact that I truly believe we all have a purpose. And I wrote about this in a recent blog post, but this summer in Uganda, I watched a sermon and I learned that our purpose isn't necessarily in what we do, but in who we become in that process. So what is it that you're seeking? This is what I asked in the blog post. What is it that you're seeking? And who are you becoming in that process? And if your dreams are not big enough, what is your limitation? Another thing that I did this summer was read a book called The Big Leap. And it's a book that basically talks about this concept of the upper limit problem. And the upper limit problem is when we limit ourselves. There's something, whether it's embedded in our background or our headspace, our frame of mind, that prevents us from living and operating in our zone of genius, which is a thing that we just naturally, innately do well. And it's just spontaneously on my mind this morning. Like, what are your dreams? Do they scare you? If not, why aren't you dreaming bigger? And what is stopping you from dreaming bigger? in the process of trying to achieve whatever that goal is, who are you becoming in that process? And it's not just job related. It doesn't have to be that way. It could be, you know, your plan and purpose to become a prominent member of your family, like a mother or a wife or husband, father, whatever it is. I urge you to ask yourself those questions, because I'm asking myself that question where I feel like I've been on the brink of something for like going on 4 years now, and slowly but surely I've been having some things revealed to me, and I think like these divine nudges are just like shoves at this point. And so I have some decisions to make. But anyway, I think that, yeah, I just wanted to share that with you all and ask you, do your dreams scare you? Because mine scare me, but I'm gonna go after them anyway. I wasn't going to vlog today, but let me explain something to y'all. These are the best pineapples I've ever had in my entire life. I can't even begin to describe what is going on in my mouth. Wow. Oh no, I remember this. So, okay. You all have to bear with me. I understand that this entire thing is the perspective of like a privileged American girl, but you have to understand what that really means. So if you watch the other videos, I'm already on an emotional edge, okay? I was already on emotional edge. I get to work, I'm returning to work, right? I had this beautiful, relaxing, you know, time after I just like poured out that emotion. I go to work. I know that there's construction outside of my building. I go to work, and on the way, I'm walking. The building that I work at is right behind where the apartments are. I go to work, and there's like, I sit down, I finally get to my space, and I'm always like out of breath because I have to carry my big, you know, book bag and everything with me. And I sit down and I look behind me and I see that there's a trail of footsteps. And I look and see that the footsteps lead to my desk. I check my shoes. There is cement. I'm laughing now, it was not funny at the time. I was already like up to here with the fact that like things that should not be considered normal, no electricity, no hot water, you know, eating the same thing every day. Like, why is there cement on my shoes? People had dust on their shoes. Dust is fine, I figured dust can be clean. This is cement, this is not coming off. And I feel terrible because not only is the cement not gonna come off of my shoes, it's not gonna come off of their floor. And I feel bad about that because I trudged it into the building, and I know that the way the resource gap is set up, this is not something that's gonna get replaced anytime soon. It was a bad start to the day. And the thing is, I put on these shoes because my other ones are now soiled in dust. So I thought, we'll talk later. And the frustration you hear in my voice is not about their circumstances or the way that things are run. It's the frustration with the fact that like this is somebody's normal. So anyway, we get to lunchtime and I see, I don't know, I end up going to a meeting or something. I come back and I see that one of my like coworkers is scrubbing the floor. And I'm like, what are y'all doing? I will scrub the floor. And they're like, no, 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 not you. And I'm like, what are you talking, like, give me a sponge, give me the bucket, and I get down and I start scrubbing the floor. Now, another one of the coworkers comes in and is like, just shocked. Like, I mean, I'm treated like a Kardashian. Like, and I'm not into celebrities like that. It's just the best comparison I can think of. I'm treated like a celebrity where they're like, oh my gosh, like I can't believe that she's on the ground scrubbing the floor. Ashley, please get up. And I'm like, y'all, like this is my mess to clean. Like it's fine. They insist that I get up, so I do eventually get up. But the coworker, a third tertiary coworker who comes in is like, we should, you know, film this, like film that like I'm on the floor kind of. And it just kind of spoke to what they believed about me, or at least her, because if I already felt like a spoiled, privileged American girl, that moment made me feel like a spoiled, privileged American girl, to the fact that you think it's so outlandish that you need to take a picture of me scrubbing the floor, as if this is something that I would have otherwise thought was beneath me. So anyway, really bad start to the day, and I don't remember what it was that made me do this, but at some point I was sitting outside crying. And I don't think it was because of the cement as much as it was because of what I saw that weekend, what I realized, and also realizing I had 2 more weeks here. And I was just crying. They were like, are you okay? Like, are you sick? And I'm like, no, I didn't have a hot shower last night. I'm gonna pause there. I realized that in the video it's pretty subtle. You can't really see it. It doesn't capture the essence of the cement on my shoes or there, but I was trying to be discreet when filming. And you can see the frustration in my face, and it's taken months, but now I'm talking about it. Let me tell you something. The conversation that I had when I was sitting outside crying because I have cement on my shoes, I didn't have a hot shower the night before, and I just look up from my tears on my face. This woman looks at me and is extending grace and kindness and love to me and is consoling me. And I recognized that in that moment. And I thought it was unfair, but I couldn't turn off the emotions that I was feeling. And I just looked at her and I said, is it normal? Like I couldn't, these things that I now know, I was just figuring out at this point in the trip about access, resource gap, things like that. Do you have hot water at home? I don't think I asked like that, but I think I said like, do you have, like, is it customary for water to not be hot? Like, do you take hot showers? And she's like, it's like, no, not all the time. We don't always have hot water. And I could see in her face that she knew that I just didn't understand. And I'm just thinking to myself, like, what I've been experiencing and being so uncomfortable about, this is her normal. Like, it's a luxury when you get a hot shower, or when the water comes cascading out of your faucet because it just doesn't there. Or when you have cement on your shoes, or you have dust on your shoes, and that is just what it is. Your shoes are still gonna get you from point A to point B, you know? Or when you have to drive 3 hours away to go take your sick son to the hospital because the hospitals in your region are inhospitable. Like, I just learned so much in such a short time, and I will never forget it. I'm recording this from Uganda, and I've taken time away from sharing my traveling experience because the last few days, my aura, my energy, my spirit has been a little disturbed from the things that I've seen. I'm here doing research. I'm a medical student, and I don't want to get too much into it because I made a separate video about it a few days ago, which either you, if you're watching this now, you may have already seen. But what I was already dealing with was internal stuff. Like, I came here with the intent to learn, but I also came here with the intent to heal. I'm going to try and figure out how much I want to share, and then we're gonna roll this back. Okay, so we can do story time. I went on vacation. I've gone on several vacations this year because after a breakup that came kind of abruptly, I spent some time to myself, and then by the time I had the opportunity to just kind of reemerge myself into society, it felt like I was a butterfly out of a cocoon. I mean, it really did. And I don't think I realized what was happening or what had changed within me until other people started noticing it and started saying, Ashley, you're different. You're different. And I think it was just people who had only known me for a short amount of time in the space where I was dealing with, like, you know, that period before a breakup where it's like you're pretty much done, or you're in a not so great space. It's not like you go from being in a great space to being done, right? Like there's that trickle off period, I guess, and that's the time where I met a lot of new people. So I guess like they had only seen one part of me. So I wrote a blog post about this, but it's not that I'm different. It's that I have a lot of weight that I've chosen to remove off my shoulders. And it's no shade to the person I was dating. I think he's an incredible person that someone's going to be incredibly fortunate to date, but we just didn't work out for a number of reasons, and we both gave it our all. I'm going to do something I've been avoiding. Because in this moment, I think I need to remember my worth, my value, and my headspace that I had when I was on cloud 9 in a relationship that I thought would last forever, and I thought I'd finally figured it out. So hang on. It's not going to be fancy. Like, I don't have teleprompter app. I'm going to read from my iPad. We'll see how it goes, but I'm going to do this now. Okay, so I have a blog. It's called Thoughtful Gems. And I started it several years ago on the brink of failing out of medical school. There's a whole story there for another time. So that's what I'm referencing here. And the story that I just told, the relevance here in my Uganda series is because that is a real part of what I spent my mornings doing. There were some times where I was having a praise session in that room. There were times where I was crying my eyes out in that room. Not just for Uganda, but for my own personal experience and everything that led up until that point in the year. So when I'm sharing this, I'm sharing this, for people who are thinking about traveling, but also for people who are stumbling across this video. And I don't know, I just have faith that God will present this content to whoever's supposed to receive it. And this is my truth, it's my story. Like I said, I left names out, but when I look back at this time in my life, I want to remember, and this is moving for me. Having been 6 months removed from the moment that I recorded this, and I am happy, I am thriving, I am healed, I'm no longer in the same space that I was in before. Now, the growth process is still happening, but this is a big part of that process, and I'm glad I get to share it with you. Okay, I'm back. Honestly, like looking at, I don't know if you can see, like looking at my blog site, it makes me excited about doing this. Because for so long, the blog was a thought for like a year and a half. Almost 2 years before I actually did the blog. And ever since I did the blog, it's grown, and it's not like I have, 50 million people who read the blog daily or weekly, or that I have thousands of followers or anything like that. But when I made the blog, I said, if just one person reads it and is impacted by my story, then it was all worth it. If I have 5 people around the entire 8 billion people on the planet that read my blog, like, it's worth it. And it's become so much more than I thought it would ever be. Just hearing from people who have gotten something from it, or view me a certain way because of it, or have found themselves in the stories. So just looking at it, just opening it, like, this makes me proud. Like, it makes me happy. I have 7 posts about love and friendship, and I'm in a season of pruning. I think God is pruning things that are not for me so that I can grow and that I can blossom. And I only realized this morning that the feeling of being off, that disruption in my aura, like, that's a spiritual attack. That's something I didn't understand until maybe 5 years ago. But whenever something's going good, whenever I'm working things out in accordance with God's will, whenever I hear God the clearest, that's when I get some sort of distraction, some sort of like derailment, some sort of like, you know, why am I feeling like this? Just a complete, like, I've fallen off a cliff of my like natural high, and that's whack. And it's crazy that once I realize it, it's like, oh, this is what we doing. Like, this is, once you see it, you can rebuke it. Like, you know, like, in the name of Jesus, I'm going to enjoy the rest of my trip, and it's going to be incredible, and it's going to be a moving experience, and I'm not going to rush it. I'm not going to hate it. I'm going to achieve so much in this time, so much, and I'm going to grow so much in this time, and I claim that. And I'm going to create so much in this time. But today, we're going to do the love and friendship section. And you know, on the way here to Uganda, I watched Girls Trip. And on Girls Trip, what's the girl? Her name escapes me. But she was like a speaker, and she like kind of was the friend in the group who had it all together, kind of like Janet Jackson was in Why Did I Get Married? The friend who just studied these theories about relationships. Oh, she was talking about how you could have it all. You could have it all. You could have the relationship and the man, and like, meanwhile, her marriage is falling apart. Her husband's cheating on her. Not that that's like her fault, but she, you know, plays a role in covering it up. And by the end of the movie, she reestablishes her priorities and yada yada. But I remember thinking, like, I can't be that person who preaches a certain thing, and then behind closed doors, I'm dealing with the very thing that I'm saying women shouldn't deal with, men shouldn't deal with, people shouldn't deal with. Like, yeah. So the point is, I want to read this, and I want to remember my worth. I want to remember what I discovered, and I don't want to repeat past mistakes, or have to relearn lessons that I've already learned. Like, let me teach myself in this moment. That's the purpose. I feel emotional just like reading where it started, and like thinking about how far my creativity has come since this moment where I wrote this post. The post that was the reason why I have a blog in the first place. I wanted to articulate my thoughts on this subject, as well as share my med school story. But this was the original. This is why Thoughtful Gems is a thing. I say, to be honest, it's taken me over a year to finally feel comfortable writing this post. The idea has been there for a while, and it's actually the idea that gave me the divine nudge to finally create a blog and share my thoughts with the world. I wanted to avoid hypocrisy and actually live by my own words, if, for the purposes of this post, I were going to momentarily assert myself as a guru in love theory. Let's rewind to a couple of years ago. More specifically, to the peak of what was yet another cuffless cuffing season. To be fair, I had options, and yet I turned them all down because I was lost in the charisma and charm of a guy that had zero interest in commitment. We've all been there, friend-zoning people who have many of the practical qualities we desire in a partner, all while patiently waiting for our actual love interest to develop into whoever we think they have potential to be. Okay. Really, think about it. Have you ever said to yourself, I wish person A had X fundamental quality, but simultaneously reject person B, who approaches you with X quality, Y quality, and Z great qualities? but simultaneously reject that person. Oh, okay. Simultaneously reject person B who approaches you with X, Y, and Z great qualities just because they lack whatever personal preference person A brings to the table. Come on, we're all in this together, right? Or maybe I've always just been too damn loyal to person A. At any rate, if you're single right now, you're more than likely single by choice, or rather, single by preference. But does that mean you should settle for person B? Is that settling? Or are you settling with person A? Better yet, are you turning down person A and person B for an idealized person C who somehow has all of the things that you want in a partner, but you just haven't met in real life yet? I was determined to dive deeper into this topic and examine my own person A and all the other person A's who had somehow managed to capture my attention in the past, but never quite achieved a longevity. Likewise, I wanted to examine what exactly was missing in all the person B's that I had overlooked. My goal was to figure out what for me was an ideal partner. Is practicality enough? Is spark enough? Is it unreasonable to desire both? It's interesting that we move through life with the understanding that perfection is unattainable and that human flaws are inevitable, and yet we seek our own versions of perfection in our idealized future spouse. I'm gonna read that again. It's interesting that we move through life with the understanding that perfection is unattainable, and yet we seek our own versions of perfection in our idealized future spouse. I asked close friends to explain the difference between settling in a relationship and accepting human imperfection. In every conversation I had, the question was met with a long pause and eventual request for clarity. This recurring theme in having to adjust my wording brought me closer to answering my own question. When it came down to it, I was really asking for an assessment of deal breakers versus desired preferences. So really, there is no true answer. It's up to everyone to decide what settling would be for themselves. So for many, this takes quite a bit of self-reflection. And I got to digging. After a soul-searching escapade through every failed romance in my closet, a recipe for success came thumping me on the head. There was a pattern in what seemed to be missing. Clear as day, I realized that there are only 3 things I personally need to sustain a relationship. It's essential that I have 1, a man of faith, 2, who is man enough to choose me, and 3, who is exciting enough to keep my attention. That's it. That's all. And unpacking previous relationships, multi-year situationships, one-hit wonders, and flings of summers past. One-hit wonder dates and flings of summers past, it became pretty apparent that no one ever had all 3 essentials. Serious self-reflection helped me to realize that here's what's gonna happen, guys. Here's what's gonna happen. A lot of things are about to happen. A lot of things are about to happen. I'm going to read these posts. I'm going to go to work. But I'm not going to go to work for anyone else but myself today. I'm going to figure some things out. I'm going to order some things. I'm going to subscribe to some things. And if no one ever sees this video but me, then know that I do have something to offer the world. I have something to offer myself. And I thought it was gonna take reading all 7 blog posts about love to get myself in a headspace of worthiness and remembrance of a time where I reflected on my past and wanted to grow from it. I thought that I needed that today. I thought I needed in this moment to remember who I was. And I thought it was gonna take all 7 posts. It took half of the first post for me to realize that I have been putting up with nonsense. I've been putting up with nonsense, and I am not going to label anyone as a villain, because as strongly as I feel about the victim thing, I feel a way about the villain thing as well. I think there are multiple sides to every story, and You just have to pay attention to who you're listening to, and that's actually one of the 7 blog posts. This will not be done in an hour. This will not be done in one sitting. If I'm going to do it, I'm going to do it right. Maybe I'll put some of this in with my travel clips. Yeah, I just got really excited, like, about myself and about my future. And I don't mean that to sound vain. I'm coming from a place of not feeling so great and feeling rejected and feeling unseen and feeling undervalued. And quite frankly, like, ignored and lonely. Like, I'll go to work. But I'm excited. I just got really excited. Like, this is what I've been writing. This is what people have been ignoring and not clicking on. Like, this is quality content. This is great content. And thank you, Tabitha Brown, for telling me to finally make the videos. I appreciate you. Thank you, Kev on Stage, for giving a thank you speech. Thank you, Kev on Stage, for showcasing the early parts of your career when you were at work being the worst employee. According to you, your words, not mine. Being the worst employee and just doing what made you happy. Thank you, Joe Franco, for making the video that I watched the other day about how you have, or making the status that I actually quoted earlier, like a few days ago, about how you have to love it enough to do it without support. That was you. I remember now where I heard it from. But thank you for making the video the other day and about what you learned in your 30s, and talking about how everyone's creative and you really just have to do, I can't remember how you phrased it, but you really just have to do what you can't help but to do. And this is that for me. I have so many ideas overflowing within me on a daily. And like I said in my about section on the blog, I cannot contain those ideas and those thoughts and the insight, the wisdom that I get from the people that I meet. I'm absorbing it like a sponge, and I want to share it with other people. So to the people that I'm thanking, I've absorbed something from you over the years. Shan Booty, like Shannon Boudram, if you guys don't know, sexologist, like, thank you for having such a vibrant aura. Thank you for being so insightful and open and transparent and engaging. There's another girl. She made the Pretty Privilege video and just like shares raw parts about her life. And I don't watch every piece of content from like every person, but I know enough to know that there's something that I saw and was inspired by. Thank you, Damon Dominique, for being open and fun and witty and talking about whatever the heck you want. Just the other day I watched a video you posted and you said something like, yeah, like, I don't, I'm trying to be politically correct, but like, what the heck, it's my channel. I've said stuff like that on my blog. Like, it's my blog, I'm gonna say what I want to, or I've said it on like my stories. Thank all of you. And Melissa Fredericks for putting yourself out there, like, and growing alongside your husband and just being a powerhouse all on your own. I am so grateful for the people who have like come before me. Natural 85, like, besides the hair content, vlogging your family, and like, I used to watch those videos so much. Oh my gosh, Thrifted Closet. Well, she's not even my Thrifted Closet anymore. She was my Thrifted Closet when we started. Sheree Del Sol, love your content. Love you. Like, so beautiful inside and out and so engaging. And she just does her own thing. Like, I am so inspired by all of these people. And any other channel that I've come across that I've gotten something from, but these are people who I know have been like consistent in their craft. I'm gonna put in the work. The rest of this year is gonna be incredible. Like everything else that has happened to me in my life, I'm going to grow from this. And for the people who are supporting me in this endeavor, silently or loudly, thank you. For the people who are silent haters, which I include like people who, if I say I'm starting a YouTube channel and there's like silence or there's like, oh, okay, like you bugging because you know that I'm made for this. You know that I'm made for this. And you're scared. You're scared and you're intimidated because a real friend would jump for joy. It's no different than when I say what medical specialty I want to go into and then the people are like, oh, okay. Real people will support you. Like, and I think I heard this the other day too. Oh no, I think it was Joe Franco. Like, real friends will support you like your wins are their wins. There are people whose relationships right now I'm excited about, like I'm in the relationship. Just because I know they deserve to be happy. Like, I'm excited for you. Like, I'm excited for you. And that's not just any friend in any relationship. Like, people who are, you know, like with their match and people who are treating them well and who they deserve and who deserves them. Like, it's a beautiful thing to see. I'm excited for you. People who are starting businesses that I just remember always having an entrepreneurial spirit. I'm excited for you. So if there's no one, and I'm not saying there's no one, I have plenty of people who are rooting for me. I'm, you know, assuming just based off of like past things that I've heard and things that people have said, but for the people who aren't able to be happy for me, I'm not worried about you, because imagine a world where I decided, oh man, you know what, so-and-so's not supporting me, so I guess it's really not worth it at all. I have no talent and there's no point in even trying because I don't have their support. What? Like, no, you have to do it. You have to do it anyway. And whatever I do, and like Kev on stage said, like whatever you do well. So I want to do it well. Just creating just this moment alone, this moment with you has lifted my spirits. Wow. Wow. I say that today. I'm not trying to make this video to make myself absolved of fault because I had every right to... Anyway, that's it for today, guys. Thank you so much for listening. Thank you so much for watching. And if you haven't yet, please hit that subscribe button. Let me know your thoughts below. If you've experienced any of these things before, how did you handle your last breakup? And share some tips for other people. Catch you next time.